94 Rocks the Dark. It is that time again. It's time to get to know a band we play on the dark. And on the phone tonight, I am talking to the lead singer of the band Fame on Fire. That is Bryan, and I heard you guys are currently traveling your way here to Minnesota. First of all, welcome to the dark, and how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great, and we are currently traveling to Minnesota. We're almost there. Getting really hyped up to play this show, and it should be a pretty good night.
So obviously it's an off day for you. And it's St. Patrick's Day. So do you have any special plans at all for tonight or not?
No, I think tonight we're going to be responsible and work on some music maybe. It is my dad's birthday, so I do have to give him a phone call.
Okay.
So yeah, born on St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah.
Born into the alcohol. So I'll give him a call, and then, I don't know, we're just going to probably hang out for the day, get some good rest in, and then just get ready to kill it tomorrow night.
Yeah. I'm excited. You guys are actually playing down to the Garage in Burnsville tomorrow night. I believe there's tickets still available for that, and you're out on tour with 0936. How's the tour been going so far?
It's been awesome. Zero's been such a cool dude to get to know and get along with. And the rest of his band's been just awesome. And then same thing with Garzy's. Garzy's been just such a cool dude. He's the opening act of the tour. And, we're very lucky to be on tour with a bunch of, cool people because you don't always get that, and the fan reception has been awesome. Every single night, once we get off stage, we go and we meet the fans. We talk to them. We take pictures, the whole nine. And it's been awesome to hear their stories, how they found us, and just to get to see who our people are.
Absolutely. Isn't it great to be able to do that again? I mean, we obviously the past couple of years, what's happened in the world and obviously in the music industry, it's taken a huge hit because you wouldn't run out to be in front of people, and now you are. I guess, what does it feel like? Does it feel like you're almost starting all over again when you're out seeing the fans?
Yeah, it does. Because before COVID, we weren't really well known. I mean, we went on a few tours and everything like that, but the fan lines were relatively small. But now it's like 50 to 100 people a night, and so it's crazy to see how it really blew up after not being able to do any of this for 2 years. So it's really, really awesome, and it feels new again. It feels like we're doing something powerful, which I like.
Let's get a little more history of the band, Bryan, since obviously I got turned on to you guys here just right when the pandemic started. You put out Headspace, but I kind of want to get the backstory a little bit about Fame on Fire and how you guys all came about.
Well, so basically, I'll keep it brief because I can make it a really long story, but I'll keep it relatively brief. Blake, myself, and Alex, we were in a band, and we all grew up together playing music, and one day, and that band broke up and separated, whatever. And I wasn't a singer in the band. I was a guitar player. And so we were living together in Orlando. And one day Alex was like, "Oh, I want to do a drum cover of Katy Perry's Unconditionally." And so Alex got the drums down for the cover, and I was recording it. And then Blake came in, and Blake's like, "Hey, what if we threw some guitar on this song? What would that sound like?" So Blake threw guitar on the song, and then they're like, "Hey, Bryan, can you sing it?" And I said, "No, I don't sing. I'm not a singer." And then they're like, "Come on, dude, just give it a try." After some convincing, I eventually did it. So hit the vocals on that, mixed it down. Alex had a friend that came out and shot a video for it in her garage, and then we sent it out to YouTube. Never thought about it again until a week later we heard that it was being played on iHeartRadio all over the country. And it was blowing up, and then we went to YouTube, and a week later we had 60,000 views, which was huge at the time.
Wow.
And so we basically sat down and we're like, well, I guess we got to be a band again, huh? And so that's how it all happened.
Wow. That's crazy. First of all, what's really crazy is that you had no interest in being a singer, and your voice is phenomenal, first of all, and it's very recognizable. It's a distinct voice on rock radio, but I guess, why did you never think you wanted to be a singer? I mean, and then once you got put in that position now, are you really enjoying the role?
Yeah, so a couple points I'll hit on. I was a very, clean choir singer. Like, I was in choir my entire life, so I knew how to sing.
Yeah.
But I never had a standout voice because that's when you're a singer, you don't. When you're a singer in a choir, you don't stand out. You know, you got to blend with everybody. So I never stood out in any sort of way. I never wanted to, and yeah, I didn't think I had the ability to really sing the way that I do now. And I remember, like, Chester was one of my biggest influences, and so I remember watching. Watching like Chester talk about singing, and he would smoke cigarettes to get his tone. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna smoke cigarettes. So I started smoking a bunch of cigarettes so I could get that really raspy tone, and just kept blowing out my voice. And yeah, it was. I'm not gonna lie, it was like a lot to get to the point where I'm at now, like singing wise, and how I sound when I sing. It took a lot of effort to get my voice to sound the way that it does. A lot of cigarettes. I mean, I don't smoke cigarettes anymore, but like, that's what it took back then, just to destroy my voice completely, and then try and rebuild it and just get that gritty, raspy tone.
That's great. That's a crazy story. I mean, I'm sure your doctor really loves that story, huh?
Yeah. It's totally cool with it. He's great,
totally
dude.
Cool with
but
it.
yeah, as far as being like a singer and being in the role of it now, like, yeah, I've fully embraced it. But there was definitely like a period of time where it's like, I didn't view myself as a singer. I didn't want to go carry myself about that way because, you know, singers are nut jobs. But, you know, here's the thing. If you're going to be a singer, you got to commit to the role. So now I'm a nut job.
I was going to say, I guess, well, you said it. Singers are nut jobs. I was going to say I'm a sports broadcaster, too, and hockey goaltenders are nut jobs, too. They're crazy. So they kind of go hand in hand, right?
Yeah, you really gotta fit the role. You gotta commit to the role fully, or else this is not going to work.
Well, is there anybody, I guess, you looked up to that? I mean, I said Chester, but is there anybody you looked up to even maybe today that you're trying to, or I just look at, so, you know, you weren't a lead singer and never thought about it. Now you are. So is there somebody that you're kind of looking at a little bit to get some advice, help out? Anybody doing that for you, or is this just all organic on your own?
It's pretty organic, I would say. I do like to. I look at like people like Ollie Sykes and even Shane Told, and like I'm just like, okay, these dudes are like really, really cool people. But like there's charisma to them, especially like Ollie Sykes. Like there's a lot of charisma to him. Absolutely. And then I look at like Matt Shadows, where he's got like this imagery, but he seems like a very like chill, down to earth, smart dude. And so I don't know. I mean, at the end of the day, we're all singers, and you got to have charisma. You're not just a singer; you're a front man. So right. I just look at what they're doing, and I go, okay, I want to do that. You know, I want to be charismatic. I want to be able to talk to people. I want to be able to sing my brains out.
We're talking to Bryan, the lead singer of the band Fame on Fire. Their latest song is called Plastic Heart. We'll get to that in just a moment. Let's go back, though. Unconditionally, obviously, Katy Perry song you covered, and I've noticed you've done a lot of covers over the years. Is that something you guys enjoy doing?
Yeah, we definitely enjoy doing covers. Is it our main priority? No. But we definitely enjoy it. Like, there's no reason not to. I mean, like, there used to be a really big stigma around doing covers and putting them out, but some people forget that some of the biggest acts of all time started out by doing covers. Mm-hmm. So there used to be a big stigma around it, but nowadays, in the new TikTok era of things, people don't care. Like, the people that really care is the older generation of millennials and, you know, Gen X. Like, they care, but the younger generation, Gen Z, they don't care. They're just there for your sound, and they want to hear you make music. They don't care whose music it is. So it's honestly great.
Actually, we've had a couple of our listeners reach out and wanted to ask some questions, and so that'll kind of go into my question. How does the band decide on the cover songs that you guys choose?
There's a couple ways. We've hit some odd covers over the years. But we've pretty much got it down to a science of what's going to work and what's not going to work. The first thing is it a Bryan melody? And so it's a decision that Blake and I really make consciously. Is it a melody that I will sound good singing? If it's not, then, you know, we have no place in hitting it. Secondly, is it a song that would translate well for us? Like, will we enjoy this song? That's a really important thing. If we don't like the song, we're not going to do it. Even if it's number one, we're not doing it for the numbers. We're doing it for, I guess we are doing it for the numbers, but we're not doing it because the song's number one. But we're doing it because we really like the song. And then I guess the third thing is that, yeah, it's got to be a relatively popular song, or a song that people know.
Right.
We're not just going to cover any old song.
Mm-hmm. And I guess the follow-up question to that from this listener, and you might have already answered that because you kind of pick and choose what works for you. Is it tough turning some of the songs into a rock song?
Yeah, there was only one song I can think of that was actually tough to turn into a rock song. Everything else has been pretty seamless and easy. But we did a cover of a Justin Timberlake song, "Can't Stop the Feeling," and that song was just really, really weird.
Yeah.
I don't particularly like that cover, but that one was definitely hard to turn into a rock song. And that was early on though, so we kind of learned from past mistakes. I would say I wouldn't really call it a mistake, but we learned from our past, and we're like, okay, this didn't work out well vocally, it didn't work out well on the music end, and so let's not do something like this again.
I hear you. And now you don't have to worry about that, because now you've got songs on rock radio that are doing very well. And of course, let's talk about the album Levels, which came out, I believe, in 2020, and had a couple of songs on there that did okay on rock radio. And one that we spun a lot on here was Headspace. Talk a little bit about that album, and also then now going over from the covers into your own music.
Yeah, so that album, I'm gonna be honest, it's so blurry to me, that album, because it felt so rushed, but at the same time it took forever, because it was our freshman album. We really wanted to impress people. So some of those songs we sat on for a year and a half of just working on it. So we just sat on it, and we wanted to just build singles. So we had Headspace was one of the first songs we wrote. Headspace was very old.
Mm-hmm.
So we had Headspace, and we wanted to have it as a single, but then we signed our deal with Hopeless Records, and they said, okay, we want you guys to make an album. And we said, okay, we'll make an album. So yeah, it took a little while to get everything rolling on that one, but once we got it rolling, it was happening. Moved studios, recorded the rest of the album in my bedroom, and then sent it off to Chris Crum to get mixed. And it was a fun experience, but it was definitely stressful, because you're trying to impress everybody with this first body of work from you.
Right.
But yeah.
I'm kind of curious too, because you released in 2020. Of course, that's when the pandemic started, so you never really got a chance to play that album at all live, did you?
No, and we were gearing up to go on tour, release the album, hit a tour, and the tour got canceled because of COVID. And then we were like, well, what are we going to release? Who are we releasing this music to? We can't tour off of it. Mm-hmm. What the hell are we going to do? And so while that discussion was happening, of, hey, we've been sitting on this album. The album got done in early 2020. The album was done. And no, it was done in early 2020. So we had it, and, we were going to start releasing singles, going that route. And then the pandemic hit, and we're like, okay, well, we're still working on things. What do we do here? Mm-hmm. So while we just sat on this album, we started working on a second album. So
there you go.
So yeah. We were just sitting on this album, and we're like, okay, well, we had, I think, I don't know, maybe 50 demos done by this point of LP1 getting released, of Levels, and we're like, okay. So we just got to release this before we can move forward with the next songs. Yeah, we know we can't tour. We don't know when we're going to be able to tour, but we just got to get it out there and move on to our next body of work.
And, of course, your next body of work is going to be coming up sometimes. It looks like maybe late spring, early summer, and it's going to be called Welcome to Chaos. That's the new album title, and it features the current single that you have on rock radio, Plastic Heart. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so Plastic Heart was one of those songs. So like I told you, we wrote 50 demos, right? Out of those 50 demos, I would say 2 songs got used.
That sounds about right?
Yeah, we wrote a lot. We really brought it down when we took some time off in the holidays of 2020. Came back home, got back together, started working on the album like literally 5 days a week. The routine was everybody comes to my studio at 2, and then we work until like 8. We were on a schedule, so 5 days a week, 2 to 8. Didn't want to burn ourselves out, and so we all just sat there in a room with our producer Arceus and like just started going ham on songs. And Plastic Heart was one of those songs that like I feel like really kicked off things for us, where it's like we had all these demos and like we were cool with all the demos. Like we were like, oh, these sound great. But Plastic Heart was that song when once we started that, like I believe that Blake made that like intro loop, that synth loop. And so once we started that song, we hit the hook melody right away. And it was like, oh, this is something sick. This is different. We're doing different things now. And I was really into that because I wanted to do something different. I wanted to change from levels. I didn't want to have a levels part 2. I wanted to have something different, something darker, something a little bit crazier. So, we kicked it off right away with Plastic Heart. And that alone brought like this new life to what we were going to sound like in the future. And so that was really important to us. And so, Blake had the idea of doing a rap verse. And so we got down the rap verse. And I was like, dude, I don't know how I'm going to do this. Like, I don't rap. And, it was one of those things, again, where Blake goes, dude, just try it. Like, just try it. If it doesn't sound good, we'll figure out a way to sing it. But just try rapping. And so I was like, okay. So, yeah, hit the rap verse. And we were like, okay. And I practiced the crap out of them, to be honest with you. I practiced it a lot.
Yeah.
But hit it. Sounded great. And we were like, cool, let's go.
That is awesome. That is awesome. And what's really cool is for your fans that are listening, if they love the song Plastic Heart, what you just kind of said is kind of the way you're going to kind of go with the future of your music, too, which I think is awesome. I'm kind of into that, I don't know, that rap rock, kind of that Papa Roach kind of feel. I love that kind of stuff. So I think that's going to do very well for you guys. Is that kind of what you're thinking? That's the way you're going to kind of go?
Maybe, but I was talking in more regards of like just the feel.
Oh,
like
okay.
I don't know how to explain. Like the feel of it. The feel of just like the weight of that song. Right. I don't know how to explain it. It just feels like a giant ball of lead.
Hey, that's a good way to say it.
It's just a very heavy song. Like it in a way of like just like the emotion of it's heavy.
Right.
The dynamics of it, they're heavy. And so that's what I seek out in a song. And that's kind of the entirety of what the album sounds like.
And I'm guessing that song has some kind of meaning in your life.
Yes, it does. Without calling out anybody specifically, but it is about somebody specifically, of course.
Okay.
But I don't want to be rude to them. But of course, it's about somebody. It's just about being in love with a person and they just completely change everything about them and you just don't recognize who they are anymore. And it's like, and you got to ask yourself the question. It's like, what would happen if I just left this situation? Would you even care? Like, would it matter?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what the entirety of the song is. And I do get very specific on details. So there's probably some fans that are going to figure out who it's about, but
we'll let them figure that out, right? Exactly.
Yeah, that's for them to decide.
That's the mystery. That's the mystery. Hey, we're talking to Bryan from Fame on Fire. Of course, they are going to be in concert tomorrow at Burnsville at the Garage. We'll talk about that in just a moment. We've got to wrap things up here very shortly, but I know you just released, I believe, on your Facebook page and your social medias, another song called Lost in Doubt that I just heard. Tell us about that for a second.
So Lost in Doubt is one of those songs that that was another one that that was actually like a late night session where like everyone wrapped it up for the day. We didn't really come up with anything successful. And because, not every day that you're in the studio, you're going to write a good song. That's just how it goes. You're going to write a lot of really mediocre demos, and then you're going to sift through them and figure out what sounds best and what works best for you. So Lost in Doubt was one of those songs where everybody wrapped up for the day. It was just me and our producer, Arceus, and he came in the studio and he just kind of was singing this like little melody thing. I was like, yeah, what is that? He's like, I don't know. He's like, I was in the bathroom. I just kind of came up with this little melody. So I was like, oh, that's sick as hell. Let's work on that. So we formed the melody, got the lyrics down, wrote the entire song, like just the structure of it, like the skeleton of it, like lyrics and vocals, like 15 minutes. And then sent it over to Blake. He's like, what the hell? He's like, this is insane. I was like, thanks. Do you want to use it? He's like, yeah, let's do this. And so then the boys came in and we worked on the song. And yeah, it ended up being a really, really cool song. It's a very different, like, it's a different style of song for us. I would call it like the ballad of the album because it's very singy. It's upbeat. And yeah, I don't know. It was definitely a fun song to do.
Nice. Yeah. Well, looking forward to the album, which will be coming out sometime late spring, early summer. So once that comes out, it's called, once again, Welcome to the Chaos. You guys are out on tour. What are you, by the way, what are you on driving on a bus? Are you in a little minivan? What are you guys doing for travels?
So for travel, we went through the different options, but we decided to splurge on a bandwagon.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so, you know, the thing is that on tours, it gets difficult being in a van or even in, like, an RV because you're always on top of each other. Mm-hmm. And so to avoid, like, trying to get on each other's nerves or anything like that or being in each other's ways, you know, having your own bunk is just, it's a great privilege to have. Absolutely. And so, you know, and especially with, like, you know, getting sick, because somebody could get sick, and, like, I don't want to get sick. Right. You know, I got to sing every night. Yep. I've been sick on many tours, and it sucks. So it's just good to have your space and, like, keep you from getting sick, because the main objective here, it's not for us to make money. It's for us to bring the best show that we can to the fans.
Right. Well, and plus you're promoting yourself, and hopefully in the future you won't have to worry about those kind of things. Maybe you'll just fly in, or you'll be on some big coach or something like that, right?
Yeah, of course. I mean, that's definitely the goal, is to travel in as much luxury as possible while not being home for 2 months, you know?
So how's the eating, I guess, on the tour?
It goes up and down.
Okay.
So, you know, some days you're like, oh, I'm going to be really healthy. And then some days you stop at, like, an Asian market and splurge on a ramen and a bunch of, like, Japanese sodas. So, you know. Nice. It really varies. It really depends on the mindset. But we try to – I feel like everyone's got their own little routine that they try and follow when it comes to, like, eating. But, you know, there's also some nights where there's literally no food on the bus at all, and so you gotta eat gas station food, because after the show everything's closed. Right. And so the only thing you can eat is a taquito at best.
And you guys are still early in the tour yet, so you still like each other, right?
Oh yeah, we're all still boys. Like I said, everyone's got their own routine. Everyone pretty much stays out of each other's ways. Nobody really gets mad at each other. Like, and if anybody gets mad, it's usually like really silly, and it's pretty much forgotten about within 10 minutes, and then you move on to the next thing. You know, like the big thing is, like, when something needs to get done, it's all hands on deck. Everybody's ready. Right. You know, everyone puts any animosity someone might have towards somebody, they put it to the side, and everybody just takes care of business. You know, at the end of the day, we're all friends, we're all boys. We're in this together, and we're grinding it together. So we're gonna do it.
Absolutely. I'm going to give you one last chance. Is there anything else you want to say, maybe to people listening out there tonight, or fans of yours currently, or maybe future fans in the near future?
Just, you know, two little things, or maybe three. Be sure to check out the video for Plastic Heart. It's a really, really cool video, and just listen to the song. Two, make sure to catch us on tour with 0936. You can check tour dates at fameonfireband.com/tour. And 3, just support your local rock radio station, because they're really out here doing it for you guys.
Awesome. I definitely agree that. And also, I'm going to say 4, if you do go to any of the shows, whether it be Fame on Fire or anybody's show, make sure you go to the merch table, you buy some merch, because that's the money that goes back to you right away, doesn't it?
Yeah, that money goes back to us. And, yeah, it definitely helps out. And also, we love meeting our fans. At the end of the day, we just love meeting our fans. Yeah.
Hey, this has been a lot of fun, getting to know you a little bit more, and I'm looking forward in the future to seeing how you guys do, and hopefully one day we'll get a chance to meet in person too. So good luck on the rest of the tour, and good luck with the new album coming up this late spring, early summer.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Once again, that's Bryan. He's the lead singer of the band Fame on Fire. Their latest song on rock radio is this one. It's Plastic Heart. It's on the Dark. It's on 94 Rocks.